I guess I'm live. Comments. There's nobody around. All right. It's live. Wait for a few people to get in the chat while I look for something. I'm gonna rudder or something. Hey, there's somebody. I'll wait for a few people. Stop kicking the camera. All right, where did that rudder go? Where did I put it? I put it over here. There. Well, hello, folks. Give me a minute to put myself together. It's always at the last second I realize I forgot to get something. My things to do over the Christmas holiday. Clean up the workshop. You ever had that one thing? You're tripping over it constantly. You say, oh yeah, I'm going to need this part. I'm going to need this part. And then you finally need the part and you can't find it. Like, seriously? What the heck did I do with it? All right. That must not be that important. All right, folks. I'll be with you in a second. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Make sure the audio is working. I am off camera looking for a stupid piece of thing that I kept tripping over all week, and now that I need it, I can't find it. If not, oh well, I'll go on with other stuff. It's not important. Find it when I'm looking for it. Tri-Islander. Hey, Matt. Very good. It is indeed a Tri-Islander from the archives. What did I do with it? Well, all right. Well, I will look for it later. It's not that important. I obviously put it somewhere where I wouldn't lose it and proceeded to lose it. I stuck it over here somewhere. Okay, thanks. Thanks. It sounds good. All right. So I don't promise the most exciting live show this time. In Matt Boeing Field. Interesting. To be honest, I don't think I've ever seen one in real life. I've seen them on TV. In fact, that's where I got the idea for that one. I'll talk about it in a minute. I always thought the Brit Norman Islander was an interesting model. And there used to be an ARF of a regular twin, a large one, not the little one here, but a little large one. I always thought it was a neat, interesting looking aircraft, just a little sort of, literally a puddle jumper. Did I stick it in here? Yeah, oh well, it's not important, I guess. So, all right. Anyways, it's bugging me that I can't find a stupid thing, but I will be looking at it anyways anytime soon. So let me get over here inside of the camera. It popped off. That popped off. Arg, targ. I'm sorry, I'm just a little miffed that I can't find a stupid little part. Everybody's had a nice weekend. We've had finally had some good weather here. It's probably right here staring at me and I can't find it. I put it on the side. Request a sound. Ah, interesting. I did not know they were really used in America. I always saw them as sort of a British kind of thing, or off in the Caribbean. It's interesting that we would use them as well. I wonder if they're still being used. I'd be curious to know if that's how there's many still in service. Oh no! Don't hurt the plane. All right, I'll look for about 10 more seconds. If I can't find it, I'm just going to go on without it. I completely forgot where I stuck it. I'll leave it to I'll find it when I'm not looking for it theory of lost items. Yeah, oh well, anyways. It would have been a nice thing to show everybody about it, but anyways. All right, say here for the 60 models. Hey, Adam, nice to see you. What are you doing here? Go do something useful. All right, I'll move the camera back a little bit. This won't be all that pretty, my messy table here. All right, let me get in. Oh, it's kind of dark, isn't it? Drop a light. At least that was kind of dark. All right, lock that in place. Push the button. There we go. Maybe it's a little better. Slightly. Do I look really dark? This camera. I really need to get another camera. This camera's acting weird, but it is what it is, I guess. This is a monitor. Let me know in the chat if you think I look unusually dark. No snarky comments. All right, so this is despite being actually a really nice day outside, I decided to kind of stay home and do some stuff in the workshop. I was actually out all day yesterday at a fly-in specifically for electric ducted fans here at a local club. It was actually really quite nice. It was pretty neat. I've actually quite a few ducted fans, and I pulled out a couple ones I hadn't flown in a while, and got to meet some other people flying electric ducted fans, and it was really nice. I like the concept of that. I've gone to jet meets, and sometimes it's not always the best when you're mixing electric ducted fans with turbines. So this was nice to just be able to fly my jets, just with other fellow electric guys. And so I figured, well, I did a lot of flying yesterday. I can stay home. I was going to work on the next review project, which I'm currently working on. But I realized, hey, next weekend I'm having a really big fly-in that I go to here locally. And while it's practical to do it as a day trip, it's probably the only fly-in I go to that I actually stay overnight, usually several nights. So with any luck, I'll be there Thursday. If that doesn't work out, I'll at least be there Friday night and stay over the weekend. And I thought, well, since it's an all-electric event, it's called BEST, and it's all electric aircraft, and it's always a good time there. Look forward to it every year. Good time of year to have it. And sometimes I consider, my friend Lee was asking, so what planes are you bringing? And I was like, I have no idea what I'm bringing for planes. And so I started thinking about some stuff and said, well, maybe I'll poke through some of my old backlog of aircraft and see if I can resuscitate some planes that I haven't flown in a long time, in some cases years, maybe even a decade, or even never in a couple of cases. So I just thought I'd kind of poke around the workshop and see what I can get running, what the conditions are. And I thought, well, maybe people want to look over my shoulders. So I don't promise this to be the most exciting thing in the world, but I thought maybe some people might be interested in some of the aircraft as I kind of look them over and see which ones I can get running, and maybe you might find something interesting. If not, welcome to gnaw your arm off to escape. And plus, I need content, right? Channel content. It's the theme of YouTube. Content. So I'm trying not to be too annoying. I'll apologize ahead of time. I may not be able to look at the chat all that much. The monitor is not far away, but it's, I don't know if I'm big in it so I can see it, but I'll try to look over there on occasion. But so my workbench is kind of messy at the moment because I just threw a bunch of stuff on a table. This is literally throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. So I just ran around the workshop, grabbed a bunch of different aircraft that I have not flown at all or ever or in a long time or once or twice, and see if I could resuscitate them, if I have the stuff to get them ready. Some of them obviously won't be done today. Obviously, there's some serious stuff. But I thought I'd poke around, since I have technically several days to get them ready, to see what the conditions are, if they're really something I can get ready in time, or if I should just abandon for something more in-depth. And as you see, the table has got some unusual stuff on it. And somebody was already asking about the Tri-Islander, and that's this right here, this guy. This is a Brit-Norman Tri-Islander. It's called a Tri-Islander because, is that tail crooked? It is. It's got, if you eagle eyes knows, it's got 3 motors on it. Two in the wing and 1 on the tail. So this is a real aircraft, though this is, as far as I know, a kit was never made of this. Yeah, it did kind of bend. It's a foamy. This is old GWS Islander. Just started out as just a regular twin Islander. And what I did was I extended the nose. It's got a longer nose than a regular Islander because it's got an engine on the tail, so for CG reasons. And of course, so I hot wired a new section out of foam and grafted it on, sanded it. I had custom printed some decals. They really haven't fared all that well over the years, but I found some stuff online, and I completely scratch built the tail. So the tail is it's got a completely different rudder than a regular Islander. And I built up with some wood. I used some bits from the kit, found a little electric motor that I stuck on the tail, and I made a little Tri-Islander. And I've flown it quite a few times. It's okay. It's not going to win any awards or anything, but I thought it was just a neat concept. And so I was talking to somebody, and I said, I haven't flown this thing. It's been sitting on the shelf, literally, for probably a decade. I have not touched it. It's been through a couple of moves, and the tail is looking a little wonky. I might see how I don't know if you can see that. It's like a little bit crooked. The foam is just foam. I never sheeted it. Probably should have. I wanted to keep it right. So I might just bend it a little bit and heat it up slightly or something. It's not terrible. It's still flyable. It just looks a little wonky. So this one is probably pretty easy to get running. I think it's just a matter of sticking a receiver in it and double checking a few things, although it looks like the steering mechanism has not fared well. Might be able to glue that. Brushed motors, nothing fancy, no brushless. So if I remember correctly, it flew nicely, just not very, didn't have a whole lot of power to it, despite having 3 motors. A few other things on the workbench. I've got an old Kyosho Mirage, and this is a little EDF that I picked up at a swap meet somewhere some time ago. I think I flew it once or twice. I thought, well, maybe I should get it ready again, fly it again a little more, just for giggles. Nice little hand launch thing. No longer made. In fact, everything on this table, well, I want to talk about is no longer made. Ignore the Avante in the back there. That's just, I was flying it yesterday. Haven't put it up yet. I have a L29 or L39 that I flew. Electric ducted fan, 90 millimeter. And this one, wow, this one had a composite fuselage and balsa wings. It was pretty nice. I think Hobby King sold it way back in the day. And I had a hard landing with it and pushed the landing gear through the wing. And then I just put it up. It was no problem with this plane. It's known for having weak landing gear. And so I've flown for a few times, and then one time I had dreaded bouncy landing, and it just shoved the landing gear through. And it was a very common problem with this particular plane. It was underbuilt. And so I stuck up on the shelf. It's all got dust all over it and stuff. And so I never really looked at it. So I thought today I would peel the cover back and take a look at just how badly damaged it was. Because when it happened, I was a little frustrated. And I just said, I'll get to it later. Never got to it. And the last thing I pulled off the shelf was an Avante, a Piaggio Avante. This used to be, it was sold here in America by Hobby Lobby. They imported it from Europe somewhere. I picked one up at a state sale, and another one that I never flew, just stuck it up on the shelf. I thought I always wanted one, finally got one, stuck it on the shelf, and I thought I'd pull it down and really take a good look at what's wrong with it and what it would take to get it flying. And there's actually one or two of these locally that every once in a while I'll see flying around. It's got a very distinct sound. It's a three surfaced kind of canard-ish thing. There's the wing, twin pusher. We've already got one module here that looks like, oh, that's not good. That's going to take some work to get fixed. Pieces already falling off of it. This one does have brushless motors in it. And so I'm just going to poke around with these on the table, on the workshop table, and see where I get with them. I get where I get. I don't expect to get very far with some of them. So I don't know what I want to... which one should I start with? I don't really know. Some are pretty simple. Maybe we should start with the easy one, right? We got the Mirage. Mirage, it has flown, it's really dirty, but other than that, I think all I need to do is stick a battery and a receiver in it. I don't think it has a receiver. See wires? No, there's no receiver. It's just two servos and a speed controller, and that. I've got the tri-islander. That should go. I should go to tri-islander. I haven't touched that in the longest time. I should go the oldest to newest, maybe. Yeah, since people were talking about that first, we'll pull out the tri-islander. It should not be too much of a problem. Other than the steering, a little piece broke off of that. I'm not sure if I care all that much. And the hatch is over here, and I pulled it off. So this was a fun little project. I thought it was pretty cool. I was happy that it even flew. Got a drink. I see a few people in the chat already. Thanks for joining. Let's see. Adam, of course. Celeb. Hello, Nick. Hey, Georgia, the country. I hope you guys didn't get too messed up with the hurricane. Samuel Pizzazz from Tennessee. Same for you guys, too. Jacob. Oh, you toured Seaguar Models. I bet that was a neat thing. Was it Dwayne that gave you the tour? It's a really neat place to go. Oh, these wheels are a little wonky. You have to tell me what you thought about the tour. So let me move the camera down here. So this thing, I don't remember how I even did it. It's still got some servos in it, some old high-tech and an MS servo. Wow, it goes way back. So I've got the steering servo, the elevator, and there it is. So I've got all three motors run off of one speed controller, an old GWS 30 amp, looks like. Of course, the first question is, hopefully the speed controller still works. Look at the do you want to call it? Connector. I have to go find a battery for it. So it's funny when I looking at some of these old models. It's some of the older stuff that's in it. Some really old brushed motors. Not even anything fancy. What speed controllers there was out at the time. When this was made, GWS was still a company that was fairly popular. It sort of just disappeared. I've heard various stories and rumors. At one point, I heard that the company went south after the owner got a divorce. Years ago, I actually met the owner at an event. Saw him. I don't know if I actually talked to him, but he was at an event in California many moons ago. And I do remember, one of the funny things I remember is, somebody pointed out, hey, that's the owner of GWS. I thought, cool, he came all the way over, because I think GWS is based out of Taiwan. So we came all the way over to a really nice electric event out in California. It was the San Diego Midwinter Electrics, as a matter of fact. And I said, well, that's pretty cool. But I did notice he had a rather fine young thing on his arm, significantly younger than he was. So maybe that's what happened. But anyways, I think GWS is technically still in business, but I don't know what they're doing. I think they make props, and that's about it. So I've got a speed controller, a little speed controller. Let me move the camera over. Little tiny GWS. I mean, this thing is really primitive. It looks like it's got one MOSFET on there, or is it the regulator? It might be the regulator. Oops, sorry, you can't see it. There you go. It's very, very, very primitive. Brushed again, so nothing fancy. So I'm gonna go see if I can find something akin to a receiver and plug all this up and see what I can do. Grab the radio. Give me a second. Move the chair over, find the radio. And the receiver's right here. Radio. And see if the things can come alive. So I'm going to grab a simple receiver here. I think I've got just a 4-channel. Yeah, a little 4-channel. That'll work. Do we even get fancy? So I'll find a little cheapy receiver. DSMX. Yep, I want to go for the low rent one. Alright, let me just grab that in there. Because it's a plane I don't really care all that much about, I'm going to grab this very ancient, AR400 receiver. 4-channel DSMX, though. Plug everything in. Let me see. This is rudder, so that's up this way. Rudder, elevator, ailerons, and throttle is here somewhere, right here. Dope. It's got an old Futaba connector. Back when I flew this, I used to fly high-tech, if I remember correctly. I think that's what I flew this with. High-tech or Futaba. So let me grab... so the throttle's got a little nub on the servo lead. You can see it. Focus. There you go. Got the little thing here, which won't fit into the receiver. So I'm just going to cut it off. Focus. There we go. Well, it's been liking to do is using flush cutters. And what I'll do is I'll just take the flush cutters, just snip like that. It usually does a pretty good job. If not, then I can take an X-Acto knife, which was right here. Which has walked away. There it is. just kind of trim this a little bit. There we go, and it should fit. And the receiver. Close enough. There we go. Fits right in there. Again, welcome to just joining. I'm just in the workshop looking at some very old models that I used to fly, see if I can get a few ready for upcoming flying event. And I thought maybe some people would like to look over my shoulders, almost quite literally. I don't plan this to be the most exciting thing. I have no other plan other than just to poke around with these models and see what they do. So right now I'm looking at my interpretation of a Britten-Norman tri-islander, 3-engined commuter plane, short-range commuter plane, used around the world. And so I'm just going to hook up a radio, and I need a battery and a bind plug. Here's the bind plug. Stick that in there. Looks like a bind plug. Why isn't that? Oh. Okay, let's try the other bind plug. Apparently it's a bind plug from a different manufacturer because it doesn't have the... Well, that's weird. I'm going to have to shave off a... I'm too lazy to look for the correct bind plug, so I'm just going to make it work by chiseling the corners here. There we go. In there. I don't care what you smell. All right, give me a second to find a battery. I had a box of batteries here somewhere. I did. Where did I put them? Oh, here they are. So I am guessing, since these are brush motors, this is probably a very basic speed controller. Doesn't say. So I'm going to find a 2-cell lithium. I believe that's what I used last time. Thought I had one. Here's one with the wrong connector. Oh, here's... Oh, that's right. I changed the connector on that one. Oh, we may have a problem here. Dope. My box. Oh, what? Oh, found one. Found one with the right connector. I don't know how much charged it is, but I'll give it a shot. I think that's it. This is my box of battery. Why is that in there? Such a big of one. Put this aside. That's the problem. I've gone through different connectors over the years, and I need to start standardizing them. And so that's one of the older ones. And I only want a 2-cell. I got plenty of 3 cells. 3 cells. I don't want a 3-cell, just a 2-cell. All right, so I found one 2-cell, 700 milliamp, an old Rhino pack. At least we'll get it, see if it runs. Oh, no, wrong one. I meant an E-Flight pack. 2-cell, 400. I don't know if it'll balance with this, but let's at least see if it does anything. So let's grab transmitter. See the chat is. Okay, Jacob. Yeah, wife original. Yep, that's her. Yep, Jacob. Hope you had a good visit. Hello, Jackson. Jackson RC Aviation is in the house. Blind shoot is having a tail for a house of balls of spacewalk. All right, that's what I like to hear. Old classic spacewalker. Many years ago. Whoa! About to drop something. Very early in my RC flying experience, I went to a flying field and a guy had a spacewalker with a 4-stroke engine on it. It was really neat. And the guy found out I was into flying model airplanes, and I was still very new at it, but I was I just was really new, and I can barely keep the plane in the air. And he let me try. He says, "Here, you want to fly it?" And he handed me the transmitter, and it was all I could do to fly around in just a simple circuit and not crash the thing. But I did it. I flew around, I was happy as a clam. I could fly this nice. It sounded great, just kind of putting along. And I flew for several minutes just doing circuits around the field with it. And I never forgot. It was really nice of him to do that. Trust me, some kid he probably didn't know very well at all. And with his plane, I remember it was a very nicely built, beautiful plane, and it was a spacewalker. I think it was a smaller one, I think, if I remember correctly, but so many years ago. All right, so find a new memory here. Come on, add new model. Add that. Come on. Oh, hit the wrong button. Create. Come on. There we go. Let's give it a quick name real quick. Nothing fancy. I'll just call it Try for now. T R I. I'll go in later and give it something more descriptive. All right, we now have a model. I think telemetry here. All right. So I'm going to line plug is in, and I've got a battery with the right connector. That's a 2-cell. Hey, let's see. Hopefully this receiver works. I have no idea, but it's bind mode. Find this real quick. I heard her servos twitch. DSMX, 22 milliseconds. Hey! Bind complete. All right, plug out. Hey, elevator works. Ailerons work. Rudder. Little teeny tiny rudder works. All right, next step is do the motors work. All right, so, I didn't check the charge on this battery. Let's see what it says. 3.7. Battery's pretty much dead. I'll have to put a charge on it. Should not be enough to move the rotors. Hey! If you can see that. Move this up a little bit. Oh, 3 motors were motivating. Look at that. Let's see. Where's the throttle? Yay! Woohoo! All right. So it works. Some things are backwards. Let's see. Oh, the elevator's backwards. Let's see. There we go. There's the elevator. Doesn't move a whole lot. Yeah, well. Okay. Rudder's good. There's a little itty bitty rudder on this thing. And ailerons. See how those are doing. Right, left, yeah. All right, let me set the throttle cut on here. All right, the auto cut is working. I'll chop off any fingers. So that looked pretty good. So all I have to do really is affix the receiver somewhere in there. Let me unplug everything here. The only question is balance. I did notice I have some balance marks on it, which is good. I think it's a good idea to put balance marks on your aircraft sometimes so you know where that goes. And I've got this lead. Is it long enough? Two things. I've got a fish. It's got a long nose. I can fish the power connector through here. The speed controller. Uh-oh, why isn't that going? It'd be neat to fly this again because I honestly don't remember much about how it flew, other than it did fly. There we go. And it's unusual. There we go. There's a connector. So I got the connector here. Pull some stuff through. And for the most part, I'll call it done. Other than to, well, no, I got to check the steering. I won't even do anything with the receiver. Just stick it in there. Let it float around. Bunch of wires. There we go. Alright. Screwdriver. This is pretty neat. I really need to. I guess sometimes for some of us who've been in this hobby for a while, we end up collecting models that maybe we flew once or twice, or something happened and we decide, oh, well, I'll fix it later, or hangar queens. I personally sometimes have a problem getting rid of some of my models if there's something special about them, like this. I kept it because it's, you'll pretty much never see another one like this. But, it's basically just been taking up space. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that tail. I might just leave it. I might, I could probably tape it straight and very carefully heat it with a heat gun. I can try that a little bit. Might just try that. Oh, I wanted to check the balance. So I'm not sure what battery I can use on this. So it's interesting. The balance marks are, I don't know if you can see it right here. There's a balance mark. And if you notice anything, it is way further forward than the normal 25%, which would probably be roughly around here. And of course, any keen eye will probably realize instantly why that is, because the nose is so long and it acts as a partial lifting surface, right? So it's got a really long nose, which shifts the CG forward. And of course, part of that is you got some engine weight in the back. So this is the battery I was thinking of using, but this may not work. I'll just stick it in here for a second and see if it balances with that in that spot. So roughly, I have a balancer, but I'm going to just use my fingers. So using the balance spot, it doesn't balance. It just goes down. So obviously this battery is not heavy enough. Look at my box of 2 cells and see what else other options I have. I've got a 700, but that's probably not heavy enough either. Should get the CG stand. I just had it. There it is. Oh. All right, we've got a CG stand. You can't see, can you? Yeah. Excuse the background. All right, so I'm going to stick in this little CG stand thing here. That way it's easy for me to put. Yeah. There you go. I think that's it. No, it doesn't fit. The motors are right where I need the. That goes to the side. It's kind of weird, but whatever. Wait. So I need. What do I need? What if I could do this? I've got some weights. I got a weight right there. That's roughly. That is, I think, 3 ounces. I've got another one in here. Whoop. In there somewhere. Yep, there's another one. That's too much. So it's probably about 4 ounces. I need more weights. Just start grabbing stuff. Ooh, that's close. I think that's the CG. Yeah. Just adding random stuff. I'll weigh it later. Ah. All right. Through there. All right. This gives me in the ballpark. So what is these two? I'll put these back in the box. I had a still over here. I forgot to take the batteries out. I have the world's worst scale. I don't remember what I did with the batteries. Give me a second. I hate this scale because if I don't take the batteries out, they go dead very quickly. Meanwhile, I have another scale that I don't know what I did with, that I literally haven't changed the battery in like 10 years. So one company can do it right, the other one can't. There you are. All right, let's see. Tar, unit, pounds, ounces. So I need something around 4 ounces. What are my batteries? So I have a battery that's 4 ounces, 2 cell. I think a 3 cell would just burn it up. I don't really have a whole lot of 2 cells anymore. I may have to. There's a 2 cell, 1.5 ounces. Either just add nose weight or find a really heavy 2 cell battery. because I'll surely would probably smoke the motors if I tried it with a 3-cell. That's 1.8, 1.1, 1.6, and this is a 1,000, just under 1,000 milliamp hour 2-cell. All right, so, well, I think I don't have any. I might have to order one. Looking in my auxiliary stash of batteries, I'm seeing nothing. Two cell. That is not a 2-cell. Where is it? What's this? No, that's a 3-cell. Huh. Well, bugger. All right. Well, I honestly don't remember what I flew on all those years ago. What's this? This is another 3-cell. Yeah. The only 2-cells I have are really big for some of my gassers. All right. Well, option A, see if I can get another battery. I might have to order one if I can get quick delivery. Otherwise, this is a good candidate. I'll just have to add some weight, some dead weight in it, which is may have been. Oh, wait a minute. Stand by. Did I do this? Oh, there's a slot. I can put the battery further forward. Well, I wonder if that works. If I stuck it way forward, almost into the nose. Nah, it really didn't do the trick either. No. It helps, but it didn't do the trick. All right, well, I'm going to see what my options are for some 2-cells. The plane itself works. I'm not going to mess with it too much longer other than two things. I'm going to, again, I just noticed the steering wheel is not connected. What happened here? Brake? So my steering connection looked to have been really hokey. Huh. I can probably try to CA it. Is that dirt? All right, we'll try a bit of CA glue. Not going to be the strongest thing in the world, but this will get it stuck on there and next some epoxy or something. All right. Oops. There we go. Get on there. That's it. Yeah, all right. Let that set up. No, don't have a whole lot of confidence that will last, but it might do it. Might be good enough. I'll be taking off from a paved runway, so everything will be nice and smooth. And there's a door hatch. Okie-doke. Yeah, more to think about it. I might just stick a piece of weight in the nose and use whatever battery I have on hand, not get any fancy new batteries for it. So I don't think I have any use for a 2-cell larger than about 1,000 milliamp hours. All right, and the last thing is this tail. I don't know what I want to do with it. I'm looking at, you can't see that, of course. Look at my crooked tail. Technically, it really shouldn't affect the flying. It just looks wonky. I'm not sure what I can do with that. Maybe I can heat it up. It actually looks like it cracked a little bit. Yeah, it did. Yeah, there's a little micro fracture crack in the root. Right around here. I'm thinking I will take some tape. I've got some frog tape. All right, this is what I'm going to do. One last thing. Let's take some low adhesive frog tape. I'm going to go right around here. I'm going to take the tape. I'm going to force it over about there. All right, so with the tape, I just kind of forced it straight, or just a little over straight. Oops, I want that over there. Should be wrapped enough to hold. And I'm just going to put some epoxy down in that crack and see if that does the trick. Oh, grab some. Keep forgetting to get some faster curing epoxy. All right, so wax paper. Mixing straw. So mix up just a tiny bit of 30-minute epoxy. Ah, stop it. Mix it really good. All right, and I'll just put some down in that crack. Oh, some dripped off, of course. Not paying attention, looking at the camera. Probably won't completely do the trick, but at least I get some in that crack that's fatigued. The final step probably might be to do the same thing, bend it over, and then heat it up just very, very carefully. See if the foam will distort enough to get me back to semi-straightness. All right, so a little bit of epoxy in there. I don't see any other cracks. No, that should help. So I'm just going to go set the model over somewhere, kind of like this, somewhere, and let it cure. How about over here? There's a box. I think it'll work. Yeah, that kind of worked. Okay. All right. So that's it for the Islander. I remember to bring some weight with me before I fly it. Kind of sucks to put dead weight in it, but find a 4-ounce battery pack probably not going to be easy, other than when it's too big. Trash can. There we go. All right, what is next? Put this in here. Yeah, okay. Next is see if I have another receiver. Got this little guy, TSM2, it just works. We've got that. I think I will get this one checked out real quick. And it is dirty. Oh, God. Oh, it's a whole new color. Clean up the dust. This is kind of a neat little early EDF. I don't even recall ever seeing one in person until I saw this at a swap meet. And, it's one of those things that the person selling it was not offering very much money at all for it. And I said, well, why not? It's just a cheap little thing to fly around in. That'd be kind of cool. I think it's got like a 40 millimeter fan, 50. At least it's brushless. It's probably a 50 millimeter. And this one I should have a battery for because it uses something totally different. So let's see if I can get this operate real quick. Thinking. Got a battery I can at least test it with. Probably going to change that connector. That is not a good connector we're using for this anymore. And a receiver. So I'll go with that one. I haven't looked at the chat in a bit. Any people are still on here? You guys on board your tears? We got Ben. We're gonna ready for best. Hey Ben, that's exactly what I'm doing. Working on models for best. Let's see, General. Hey Peter. Peter's here. Yeah, I had a great time at an event. Crazy Quad Brothers. We're going to Warbirds over Texas. When is Warbirds over Texas? So yeah, as Peter mentioned in the chat, there was we had an all EDF event yesterday, which was really nice. And so I got to fly. I flew a couple of planes. I hadn't flown in quite a while. And one of them had a problem with the landing gear. It turned out just to be a bad connector, but still it was weird. And a couple of planes I just hadn't flown in a while, try to get used to them again, that kind of stuff. But it was nice. That's why I pulled them out. Have a good time. What's this? Oh, there's one too. 300, 500. Check my battery stash. If I got something relatively close to what they were asking for. Random connectors. I really need to standardize my connectors. This is becoming annoying. All right. Anyways. All right. Anyways, not going to fly. I just want to test it. Find a receiver. Here's one. Ooh, the fin got knocked off. How does I get knocked back on? Got a little fin here that popped off. So I can glue that real quick. It's funny, recently I got a couple of just old cheapy receivers, some old Spectrums. And not something I use in anything big or important, but they come in handy when I just need a little receiver to put in a little microplane like this. Don't care much about. Mm-hmm. Aha. So I did that with one hand. There we go. I fixed that. Remember to support show sponsor, Starbond Adhesives. Okay, so again with the bind plug. And I have no idea which one goes where. One's throttle. Chair. There we go. Okay, this one's nice and simple. It's only got 3 channels, elevons and throttle. So we'll just plug up the throttle here. Elevons are usually on an elevator. I'm just going to pick one and see what that does. All right, I've got a battery over here. A couple different batteries. Who knows how charged they are? They should be storage charge. Indeed it is. Yep. Add new model. All right, so this one, because it's a Delta Wing, I'm going to go into aircraft type, change it to a flaperon. No, not flaperon. Where is it? Elevon. There we go. It's Elevon A, Elevon B. I don't know. Try Elevon B. Model name. Give it a quickie name. It's called the Mirage. I just call it a K. I called a mirror. M-I-R-A. Mirage, KYO. So don't confuse it with a Dassault Mirage, which I don't have anymore, but I used to have one. There we go. Okay, so that's ready. That's ready. Let's plug her up. See if she'll bind. I got the blinky on the receiver. Oh, be quiet. Binds. Yes. So this is a DSM-2 receiver. All right, so we got something. Pull the bottom plug out. One servo is not doing anything. Do I have it in the right channel? Right, left. Well, that's not good. Aileron, elevator, throttle. Ooh. Motor's live. Do I? So the servo. Oh, there we go. Uh-oh. There we go. Well, that was interesting. Probably didn't see that. Sorry, the wind was way over there. The servo here wasn't responding. I touched it. Now it is. Do I fly that? Was it a wonky servo, or it just hasn't, since it hadn't done anything in years and years, it was just stuck a little bit. There we go. All right, so elevator's backward, ailerons are good. Okay, I wonder if I can swap channels. Fix that. Sometimes swapping the channels fixes the problem instead of going into the radio and tweaking with all the different reversing settings. Yep, that's it. All I did was swap the channels for the two elevons, and now up is up, down is down, right is right, left. Hopefully the servo just needed to exercise a bit. Seems to be working fine. I have no idea on throws. If that's too much, not enough. So what I'll probably do is go in and set up some dual rates, at least on the... I know Delta Wings tend to be really touchy on ailerons, so I'm going to set up some... That's the wrong screen, Gromit. Set up some dual rates and even some expo on the ailerons just to be safe. So with full rates, maybe I'll do about 20% expo. Maybe even 25. It's probably a bit much, but at 100% on aileron. They're full span aileron, so. And then I will set up a dual rate. What happened? Oh, the switch. All right. So 100% there. We'll do about 80 good. Yep. So I'm just guesstimating 70. About 15 expo. All right, so on the switch, high rates, medium, low. All right. I want to trust you. Don't let me down, servo. I have no idea how to get to the servos. They're like buried in there. All right, seems to be holding. Okay. Mine just had a sticky pot for a second. All right, and throttle work. Woo! All right. Well, that was easy. The only thing is there's a spot for the battery, and I need to look at some point, see if I can double check. I'll show that all in there later. Where the CG is. It is not marked that I can see. It is a Delta Canard. I am not seeing any marks. So I am going to guess. I'm going to stick a battery in here. This one's a little light. I think they called for a lighter. I did find an old page. This is no longer made. I did find an old page that told you what kind of battery to use, but I couldn't find a manual for CG. I suspect it's right around here. This battery's a little too light. They called for 800. So I'm going to stick in a battery, roughly what they call for. Let's see. Again, that's a really rough estimate. I can't believe I didn't make a mark. So this is going to be one of those that I am going to probably find a patch of really tall grass and have somebody throw it, and we'll see how that works. If I can't find it to publish CG for it, I need the real Kyosho Mirage. So, but still, oh, I unplugged it. She is ready. I might change the battery connector. The batteries I use have a different connector, but I won't bore you with that. Yeah, they all have a different connector, so I will change that. Q Mirage. Let me change the timer on here. All right. That's pretty cool. All right. Well, maybe I will change the connector while I'm thinking of it. So, for the connector, got an old, this is a Dean's? Little Dean's, if you can see it. Little Dean's, these are actually pretty decent connectors, but I've started to move away from them. One of the things, this problem is you've got an exposed connector, and I've actually had this short out on some occasions on batteries, dangling around the box and stuff. So it's a good connector as far as electrical characteristics for small and UMX and small planes, but I found it, I really need to get away from it. And the nice thing is, what did I do with them? They are here somewhere. Is that in the bag? No, what did I do? Oh, they're in the drawer. God, there I put them where I should have put them. Is now there's different options, but if you have a smart battery or a lot of the E-Flight stuff is now coming with these EC2 connectors, and I actually quite like these connectors. They're small, very small, but they're very good. Look like a very good low resistance type connectors. And so I actually went to the hobby store, and picked up some blank ones. There we go. So now I can change this one over to this. And I think I'm going to do that right now. We'll do that real quick. Find a soldering iron. They have to be soldered, of course. Hopefully I have enough solder left. All right. October 12th. Over Texas. Crazy. Where is... I'll have to look it up. Over Texas. Sounds familiar. I don't remember. Do I have that on my... Where that is? Check my calendar. October 12th. Over Texas. Oh, I'll have to look. I'm not sure where that is. Something in a workshop like that. Something you can. Albury. Okay. And where's Albury? Okay. Yeah, I live here in Texas, but I have no idea where that is. I mean, is there a major city nearby? I'll look it up. Albury. Oh, it's north of the DFW area. Okay. Yeah, I won't be going to that one, but McKinney, Denton. Okay, yeah, okay, yeah. I know Denton and McKinney. Thank you. Let's see. Look at some of the other chat real quick. So they want a workshop like that. I am Jeffer. Yeah, it took me a while to get a workshop like this myself. This is actually a converted garage, and it vacillates, swaps between pretty decently organized and complete mess. Organized chaos. But it's nice to have a room like that. What else we have? Jay, good to see my cousin enjoying himself. Oh, hey, I got a cousin in the channel. Jay. Well, cuz, thanks for joining. Donald Jackson, hey, Gregory Johnson, greetings. All right, let me get back to work here. Oh, I know who JM is now. Took me a second. Water. Here's some water. Yeah, after spending a nice Sunday afternoon playing with toy airplanes before going to work tomorrow. What a weekend so short. I said we mandate a 3-day weekend. Or Mondays are only half-day work days or something. All right, so let me plug up the soldering iron. Here we go. Grab a soldering iron, grab some solder. I am almost out of solder. There's like nothing left on this roll. So it's not to do the job, but I'm going to have to go grab some. So I'm going to take this old connector off. I got a little thingy here. I got a holder. And I got another thing here. I had some alligator clip things. I don't know what I did with them. I'm too lazy to go look for them. I think I can do this by hand. So I'm just going to slice off the old heat shrink. Slice them all off. Get to the juicy center of the solder joint. Turn this guy on here. It's just a button. All right. This is the same iron I did a review on. This sucker heats up really quick. Picked up this neat little block that holds stuff, holds connectors and whatnot. It's real handy. A swap meet or something. And so I can stick that in there. Soldering iron is already ready to go. Just tin it a little bit with the fan blowing in my face. Connector there. There we go. It's off. Just put these up a little bit to get rid of the. All right. By connector, find the new one. So you can get these connectors in semi-bulk. It's kind of nice. Nice, you don't need heat shrink with them either. I did get the right side, right? Yes, I did. All right, so just do that. Slip over the little cover here. So yeah, so I got this little thing. It's called, I don't know if I have the box anymore. It says from hotracing.com. And it's a little multi-holder thing for soldering different types of connectors. And so you've got spots for bullet connectors, spots for other types of connectors. It's got a little clamp thing. And it has a little bit of weight to it, so it kind of doesn't roll around on the bench. It's, sometimes I have to use it at weird angles, but it's coming real handy. I don't really remember where I got it. I think I got it at a swap meet or something. You probably hear a familiar theme here. You find all kinds of good stuff at swap meets. All right, so gonna tin this a little bit. The thing about these connectors, they're small, so you don't want to keep a lot of heat on them for too long. You end up melting the case. All right, and look, of course, where positive negative goes. All right. All right, I'm gonna turn it around. Oops. All right, so right on the side of the case of this connector, it says positive and negative, so it's. But I have messed it up before, not paying attention. Put the positive where the negative should go, and vice versa. Right. Positive, positive. So for these, sometimes I'll heat up the wire first to attach it and let it sit. And of course, the key to soldering, if you can, is to make sure you heat up both pieces. Soldering is not hard, but I've seen people use some really bad techniques, and there's no excuse for that nowadays with YouTube. But back in the days before YouTube, I actually had to learn soldering. I actually took a class or two on soldering many, many moons ago. I don't think I remember a whole lot from it, but it did teach me some basic techniques that were good. And I had a good time with it. And so I've always been at least decent at soldering. Oh, it's hot. I won't claim to be mil spec, but I know how to identify a cold joint. And so I've never had any of my solder connections come off. So just double checking, looking it over. All right, looks like I did it without melting anything. So now, let's see if this thing fits over. Barely. Yeah, there we go. All right, so now I've converted the old Dean's mini plug over to the IC2. And we double check that I haven't reversed the polarity by not paying attention. Polarity is good. This will be actually one of the batteries I'll be using, I think, as a matter of fact. 800 3-cell and 850 3-cell. Although it's got the wrong, I'll have to change the, whatchamacallit, Velcro on it. I won't get into the big Velcro debate right here, but anyways. All right, and of course, as I'm done, we clean the soldering gun with the wet sponge. It's always a good idea to clean that off, turn it off, let that cool down. And I will call this one done. So far, I'm 2 for 2 in the great airplane rescue or resuscitation. The great airplane defibrillation. So there's 2, the Islander and the... Oh, man. Yes, my name is Fitz, and I am completely clumsy. All right. All right, so this really goes down here. I don't know why it was still up there. It's funny how your workbench will just become cluttered after a while of stuff. After just a few minutes of working. God. Get a little connector. I'll stick it in here. All right, where was I? Oh, yeah. So, 2 for 2. I've got the old vintage Kyosho Mirage ready to fly. Hopefully somewhere I can find CG before I try it. Otherwise, I'm just going to guesstimate it. And the Islander, which is curing over there in the corner. So I got 2 more I was looking at. Which one do I do? Do I do this one? I'm going to leave this one for last, actually. I'm going to do the other because other is bugging me. This one, I took a quick look at it, and it's, I don't know. I think the other one's going to be more interesting. My beloved L39. I guess what got me interested in this is it's been sitting on the shelf for a long time. It's even got another layer of dust on it. So at the EDF meet yesterday, I saw some of the Freewing L39s. L29s, L39s. I really don't know the difference between L39 and L29, but you know what I'm talking about. And I said, well, and somebody was selling one. One of my club members has one he was trying to sell. And I was like, well, yeah, cool. And L29 is like, well, I have one. I really should fix it, not just get another foamy. What's interesting about this one is this is not a foamy. This is balsa wood covered with covering. And the fuselage, it's on the rack. I didn't pull it down. Is fiberglass. So it's got a fiberglass fuselage, built up wood wings, really pretty nice. It's got lights. I actually have working lights in the wingtips that I had sequenced with the landing gear. But as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, this one was an old one. I think it was Hobby King that sold them many, many years ago. And it was notoriously weak in the wing for their landing gear. And I actually knew that when I first got it. I did some research. I actually put some fiberglass I just noticed in here in the wheel wells. But I still punched the gear through the wing. And here's another section you can see. This is really bad over here. So I thought I'd just take a second look at it and see if there's any hope that I can actually do anything in a reasonable amount of time with this. So, and these pieces fell out. So with something like this type of plane, when you've got a, when you break a balsa wood plane, first thing you gotta do is you gotta find a nice sharp X-Acto knife and really, you gotta basically take the covering off. It has some sort of, I'm not sure what kind of covering this is. If this is just a low temp covering or something. So what I'm going to do as a start, because I'm really curious what the internal structure looks like. Let me move some stuff out of the way here. is just kind of open it up and see what it's going to take to repair all this. So let me, both sides got damaged, one more than the other. So here, this side's closer to me. So what I'm going to do is, and of course, I'll have to resheet it at some point, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. I'm just going to slice very carefully. Cut. I'm not, come to think of it, I'm not going to cut the blue if I can't. There we go. And I'll just cut around. I'm not being too precise with it. I'm just trying to get rid of some of the covering. And we'll just cut. I never flew this a whole lot. I flew it a few times. I think I had about 3 or 4 flights on it before I whacked the landing gear. This was a high power setup. This was a it's a few years old. This was a 90 millimeter 8S setup that I used on this. And I did this when 8S really wasn't that popular a thing. Most EDS were still on a small side. Even now, you don't see a whole lot of 8S aircraft. And I have several. I actually have a 10S one. I have a that every time I fly it, people think it's a turbine. The problem is with the 10S one is it's not easy to get. Actually, at the time, I was able to get 5S battery packs, but I haven't flown in a while. Now I probably would have to do like a 4 to 6 or something like that. I don't think anybody makes a 10S. I mean a 5S battery pack, or they're very hard to find. So here we go. So I'm just pulling all this stuff off. Move the camera in a little bit. Something about this is a little bit cathartic. Just pulling the covering off, taking a look at the inside. So that's the bottom. There is a servo in here. I might take that out as well. Where is the cover? That's my screwdriver tips. Will this fit? No. What did I do with the thing? It's over there. Yeah. The neat has these nice offset hinge flaps too, as well, which is pretty cool. But there's another one that's so long ago, I vaguely remember how it flew. I think it flew pretty good. A little bit of a heavier wing loading. I don't remember it being, and I think that's maybe what it was too, being a little on the heavy side, and they just didn't build it. So I'm going to pull this door off. Just to look at the structure, see if anything's cracked. There we go. Another thing is the servo. I'm working on another build, and so now I got a bunch of servo boxes, and these high-tech ones, or I mean, high-tech and Spectrum now come with these neat little boxes, and so they're great for holding stuff. All right, let me flip this over. So as you can see, I stripped off that piece of the covering, and so I can get a little better look at the inside, but I'm gonna have to do both sides and top and bottom. So I'm gonna go to the other side here, the worst side. Try not to cut too deeply. I guess technically I could use a soldering iron too, but I just thought I would do this. Oh, was that the worst side? That was the worst side, wasn't it? covering's pretty old. Again, I'm not being too picky where I cut, more or less. Just kind of pull it off. Yeah, see, good thing I pulled off. I don't know if you can see it, but as I'm pulling off the covering, I can see there's a big crack right here. That's underneath the covering, which is what I wanted to see, because this side looked pretty decent, but I wanted to look under it since the covering is partly up anyways, and there's a crack that I'll have to dribble some glue in or something. All right. Oh, let me pull this off too. Yeah, this is how I like to spend my lazy Sunday afternoons, playing with old airplanes. A little nice little micro servo in there of some brand. I don't even know what it is. Dutrum. These retracts got call it trailing edge oleos, and so this side fared pretty well. I'm wondering if I even have to take the covering off the top. I'll see, but I want to look at the bad side. This is the one that got wrecked pretty bad. So it just tore everything up. Just a whole part of the trailing edge D-tube here got whacked pretty good. So it's all gotta go. Oh. There we go. This all got whacked pretty good. Cut. Oh, this gotta go. It's neat. I'm just noticing there's like little decals. Hydro system. I don't know if it's in Polish or something. Interesting. Just little, what do we call it? Nomenclature? Somebody's gonna complain how I pronounced it. This is something we really needed to do a long time ago. Never got around to it. Sometimes when you crash a plane or you beat it up pretty hard, you just get frustrated and you're like, I'll deal with it later. And sometimes later doesn't come until much, much later. Nope, wasn't supposed to happen. So I'm a little weird that way in that sometimes I will put a project aside and it may literally be years before I get back to it. But I have to say, I almost always get back to it. It just takes a while. I got lots of distractions. But I rarely ever just put something away and never get back to it. All right. I don't know what it is. This is very cathartic. Ah, all right. So this side got banged up pretty bad. Does it even have a spar left in it? Didn't even think about that. Yes, mostly. So there is looks to be a D-tube spar in the front. Yeah, that's pretty well intact, but the rear spar was not filled in. So let me move the camera around here a little bit. Sorry. If I can get a good picture. Maybe you can see that. So let me do this. Wait a second to get the camera where I want it. There we go. Maybe that's it. I think I got a secondary light. How's this? There we go. What am I looking at? So here, you're kind of split and broken. Let me get a good angle here. Sorry. So what seems to have happened is, so there's two sets of spars. There is a, sorry, the light just didn't look like it was doing well. There's a main D-tube spar here that's intact, but this secondary spar is not, it's not even really web sheared. It's just only like one spot and then nothing. So looking at it, the gear got, ooh, it gives me an idea. How do I drop the gear? Let's see if the gear still works. It'll help me if I can extend the gear and I can actually look into what's cracked. I can probably piece puzzle it back together, actually. But it'll help with the gear is out. I'm kind of looking at the, yeah, can probably do a good piece it out, but with the gear is extended, I can use the leverage of the gear to move everything back in sort, because it's pretty well cracked. I don't know if you can see this part. It's got a lot of, it's pretty beat up. So I'm thinking two things. See if I can put the puzzle back together, put the pin back in the grenade, and then reinforce it once it's back together and set. So, because there's no shear webbing, so one of the first things I probably will do is add some, oh, you can't see it, can you? Can you see that? Some shear webs in here along the spar. I definitely do that. Might take the covering off the other side, do the same thing if I can't access it. And so gear. See if the gear. See if this gear still works after years of inactivity. So which of these 20 wires are the gear? See if I labeled them here. Lights, landing lights. There is a switch here, electronic switch, probably for the lights. Yeah, for the lights. Like I said, I had a neat thing. Whenever I lowered the gear, the lights would come on. It was pretty cool. And you can see them in the daytime. Well, here's something. Looks like, what's this for? Oh. I got wires. Oh yeah, I had wires for other lights. So 5. 5. Oh, this must be the gear. 5 gear. Yep. All right. Let's grab a battery pack. Hopefully this will work. I need a battery. Give me a battery. Where my batteries go? Back in the refrigerator. All right. Oh, I can't use that one. All right. Neat little battery meter, also doubles as a servo tester. There we go. All right. Let's see. First one. Servo test. Oh. Hey, it worked. Look at that. Let's try the other one. I think. Why did it not work? Let's try that again. Oh, it's stuck. All right, it was trying, but it's stuck. Oh, that's not good. Okay. It's encouraging. That one's working, but this one won't come out. So can I finagle it enough? Dang it. All right, we're going to have to really look at this. The gear mount moves so much that the gear is stuck. But I really need to get it out. I might have to trim the wood. Let's try this. There we go. All right. That's the good stuff. A little bit of surgery. All right. So now this gear is out. I can actually use the arm to help knock it back into place, I think. So I wish I had connectors on these so these are not dangling. This thing just keeps dangling. Oh, maybe I'll just tape it. Yeah, that's what I'll do, I think. Probably not enough to hold it, but there we go. All right. Okay, so seeing as this got kind of banged up, so I'm just looking around. Pieces got knocked around pretty bad, but there's always a way to fix it. So I think the main piece is that gear needs to go back into that slot. Let's see if I can do that. Yeah, look at that. If you can see that. Just by moving the wood. Yeah. So some of the ribs got knocked way out of whack. So this will be the key. Let's see if I can get this to snap back into place. I'm probably going to have to look for any pieces that are in the way. I think there's a couple of... Sorry, I can't really see that. I'm going to dig around, move some wood debris. It's probably getting in the way. So just pull that out. Pieces of wood. This is one of the reasons why if you ever have a fairly serious crash or any kind of crash, is try to keep all the pieces, because sometimes you can 3D puzzle everything back into position. All right, so I'm going to move the camera over here. Maybe this will be a better angle. All right, so this gear is just kind of all floppy. Just moving around. So I'm going to see if I can carefully, there we go, put it back into place. So all I did was kind of move it, slid it back in, and that's good. So basically I'm dry fitting a bunch of stuff before I attempt to glue anything. Yeah. So that looks like that could glue back in. I can't see anything. Try to glue that. So I think I could try to glue that, try to glue that. Is that missing part of the spar? Yeah. So I could see why, it's not going to come across on the camera, why it was so easy to bang this up, because I didn't land all that hard. And that's what a lot of people are having with this particular plane. There's a secondary spar, or two, top and bottom, that is that even hardwood? Or is that balsa? If it's hardwood, it's very soft, first of all. And it looks like it goes from the wingtip down to about here, right where the gear is, and stops. There's no more, there's no more, same thing on both sides, secondary spar. So you don't have a spar that goes all the way through to the wing root. It stops. And that creates a stress point. And so it's not a good design. Not sure how easy that it will be to fix. What I can probably do is add some more reinforcement in there in the shape of a, whatever that is, 6-7 millimeter, quarter inch wood. Beef that up. So my thoughts are, the first thing is to patch it up to basically glue the pieces back together that are there to look at least something like what it should look like, and then start reinforcing it and then recover it. That is what I will do. So I got the gear back in place. That's nice. I can put some thick CA in there and hold it. Normally I'd like to use epoxy, but I'm probably going to have to use CA, so I can put the CA in there, hold it in position, put some cure on it, and then go around, and then maybe go back and reinforce it later with epoxy. How about the other side? How about the top? Okay, so when I pop the gear back in place, most of this looks like, let me just take some more covering off here, that it will all go back into place. There we go. Pretty nicely. Goodbye. Yeah. Well, I could conceivably. Yeah, okay. I can make a fake rib. All right. So I think I will start doing that. Let me look at it. There's a lot of stuff you can't see because it's all deep in the crevices. Whoops. Pop back out. But I can pop it back in. This wasn't glued. In fact, I'll leave it out. What I can do is drop some glue in there and then put it back in. So for this case, I'll use thick CA. It'll give me plenty of working time, and I can get in there. So I'm going to commit myself with some glue. I'm going to put a bead down there. Some in there. Some in there. Just kind of get wicked in there. Some in there. Let's see if I can pop that back in. Oh, I'm going to need some here. So I'm just going to throw a bunch of glue in there. So I can at least get this part. Oh, some leaked out the bottom. I got glue on my fingers. With napkins. All right, so I got a bunch of glue in there. Glue in there. There we go. Glue my fingers together. Wipe that off. I had some kicker somewhere. I'm not going to overuse the kicker, but it'll help hold it in place. So, one finger again. Hold that together. So I'm going to do that. And I might even take the gear out and check inside the mounts and reinforce it. I could try reinforcing it with some fiberglass tape or even carbon fiber if I have any. I don't know if I have any. Get in there. That's not looking too bad, actually. All right, so that's a lot stiffer. Some of the glue dribbled down into the sheeting, which helped. And so for some of the sheeting, I may take some thin CA and go over the cracks, reinforce that, or medium CA, whatever works. There we go. So a lot of it just fitting back together like a puzzle. It's just a case of gluing things back together and reinforcing them. So I got a little piece of, let me get this out of the way here. Another camera stand. All right, so what next is I'm gonna There's a piece here. All right. Get stuff out of the way. Put my keys back in here. So there's a bunch of wood panel pieces around here. Need to be re-glued. Kind of looking at what we have here. How deep does it have to go? So I'm just basically looking at other pieces I need to glue. We're gluing that one. So maybe there's a spot here. I could use some glue. I may go through and just re-glue a lot of these joints that are already glued. Just add another layer. Sometimes some alphatic glue may be actually a good use for that. Something takes overnight to dry, but it does a nice, good, solid bond. Ah, came off. Go. Oops. Might have gotten some on the landing gear. It's all right. Not doing much talking, thinking. Probably got a little dribble on the gear I did. Might take the gear out before it dries. Yeah, I think I'll do that. So now that the gear mount is done, I might take the gear out if I can. Not quite enough. Come on, baby. There we go. The screwdriver's protesting. All right, let's get this out of here. I'm going to get this gear out before the glue cured because some dribbled into the mount. And I can kind of take a closer look at the mount too. So, pull that out. All right. So there was a rib that went here. And so I can sort of make a replacement rib. Look at the wing. So this will be just a case of glue and fit and glue and fit and glue and fit. I'm going to have to get some scrap balsa to make some reinforcements to the ribs. So as I go along, this split, I'm not sure if I can get it back together, but I'm sure I need to. But to be honest, the damage is actually a little bit less than I thought. I thought it was going to be more extensive than this. But the more I piece it together, the better it looks. I think it's really going to be a case of mostly piecing it together, gluing it, and then strategically reinforcing it. Now, I don't know how strong it will be. If I can make it stronger than it was, would be nice. And it's interesting that I found that discrepancy in the spar. So I can at least try to put some webbing in there once I get everything else and cover it real quick. All right, some more glue. Ah. Sure, look at that. Yeah. I haven't checked the chat for a while. I'll take a look, see anybody yelling at me. A lot of 5S. Everybody's been quiet. Not a problem. So have I. Yes. Piece that back together. I was just thinking, sometimes it's a lot of people don't realize how, for lack of a better term, easy it is to piece a plane back together that you've crashed in some cases. You may hit something or you really bad landing or something. You think, oh my God, I just ripped the wing off. This plane is totally trashed. And not necessarily so. Sometimes just a little work, a little patience, and you can get something back together again. I once put together a plane. I hit a wall. That was fun. I need to push down on that. Probably. And I've rebuilt several planes. Quite a few. You probably saw the video. I've already built the Savage Bobber. That was fun. I need a longer wick in there. So you should tell people if I'm at an event or I see somebody crash something, tell them, well, sleep on it. You know, you may be able to fix it if you really want to. I need a thing. There we go. It's also one of the reasons why I tell people sometimes if you're new to the hobby, consider building a plane, a traditional plane from balsa wood or whatever. And not only because it's neat to be able to build your own plane, have a sense of accomplishment, but also makes you less apprehensive if you need to fix something. And if you've built a plane, you kind of know how things work for the most part, and you can take a stab at repairs. Because we've all had a bad day at the field, we whack something, break something, or whatever. And being able to fix something. I've seen planes that were very trashed. Even I thought they were totaled, and people have fixed them up and repaired them. Yeah. So I've just been gluing stuff. I'm using thick CA. I have thin, medium CA. If I have some medium I can use, there's some thin. I need medium. If you're wondering where I went, I am looking in the refrigerator and freezer for some glue. If that sounds weird to you, it is not. That is actually a very good place to stick your glue when you're not using it. Is in the generally in the refrigerator. Glue that I haven't unopened at all, I tend to put in the freezer. It doesn't really freeze. In fact, I just pull this out of the freezer because it's unopened, and it's very, very fluid. I think they get more fluid as it warms up. And so I generally keep all my glues. They stay longer, keep longer, last longer, whatever you want to call it. So I wanted to put some glue into these cracks here, and the thick, a little too thick, I think. The thin, the gaps are probably a little too much for the thin. I could probably use thin as well. Let me grab the thin real quick. Maybe I can try that. This is just a surface sheeting. So maybe I'll get some towels. The reason why I didn't want to use thin because there's a little bit of a gap, I think, because it's been broken for so long, the wood may have contracted slightly. What do I think? Yeah, I'm thinking medium. Let's see if I can get some out of here. Gotta open a new can. Here's your knife. And my knife has walked away. It was right here. Oh, it fell down on the floor. That's right. Really wish these knives had square handles instead of round so they don't roll off the table. Where am I? Medium. All right, so I'm just gonna throw some glue in these cracks here. On the surface sheeting. And I can always go over and sand them down later. So right around all the little cracks in the sheet. And that's it. A little base that sticks up. That. A little bit of kicker. My foul alarm going off for some reason. Oh wow, it's 4 o'clock already. All right, so once you put the glue in there, a little bit of kicker, it hardens up pretty good. So I'll just poke around, look for any other open gaps here. Wipe it off. A little kicker. There we go. Oops. And so we just continue on, finding the little gaps in the surface sheeting. A little bit of CA. Ooh, it's leaking a little bit. Wipe it down just a touch. Give it a little kick. Once it cures, it really tightens up really quite nicely. Wingtip's a little beat up. Yeah, I'll take this off. Oh, don't. Pick up the wingtip so I don't glue it. I think that'll be thick for that. Oops, did that not go in? Oh, dope. Dope. Here we go. I didn't make sure it fit that well before I put it in. Glue's already starting to cure. Let me try this here, all right? All right, little kicker. Just 3D puzzling this all together. Finding spots that need to be glued and gluing them. I'm out of the camera range, aren't I? Forgot there's a camera. So it's kind of getting in there. So everything is really starting to tighten up pretty nicely. Put this back in here. So the more I do this, the more confident I think I might be able to have this ready for the fly-in this coming weekend. Granted, there's no other major issues, and I need to check that I have the right batteries. It's been so long. Probably going to need two 4S of the 4,000 milliamp hour, 4 or 5,000. Actually, I need those anyways for another plane. So the other side, we do something similar. So, all right. Yeah, I've worked on this enough for now. I'm gonna go take a look at something else, think this over. I'll just do another glue right here. There we go. A little bit of glue in there. Yeah. That's a different bottle cap. Okay. All right, that is looking much better. If you remember when I first took this apart, the gear was just dangling practically, and it was very loose. It's already tightened up a lot, and this is not even, I haven't done any reinforcements. Just piecing it back together, it's gotten a lot better. I took the gear out so I can double check. I might even put some fillets in there. That is very nice. Still got to do the shear webbing. I'll do that. I'll do it later tonight. Same thing with this. This side, I might take the gear out as well, do the same thing. If I do it on one side, I probably should do it to the other side. It's good to know the gear still works. Hopefully the servos are still working. So some of these no-name brand or whatever. Oh, this one's out. Oh, it's just the hinges. There we go. We got re-glued some of these hinges. Remember to do that. I'll leave that out to remind me. All right. So I'm going to put this aside for now. One last thing is, let's take this over here. For those two people still hanging with me. Let's see. Man, we're going for a couple hours. Hey, Lee. No, I'm going to start over. You wait for I'm finished, then you can start over. All right. So this last one, I took a little early look at it. This one looks to be, I thought it might be something that might be another one I could probably have finished, but the more I look at it, the more it's not as nearly as good a shape as I thought it was. And this is the Piaggio Avante. What is this? There's a screw rolling around in there. So this is a neat plane. When I saw this, I really, really wanted it, and I was able to get one. Although this one had been started on, I don't know if it's ever flown. The Piaggio Avante. It's got a fiberglass fuselage. Looks like a built-up wing. Maybe a foam sheeted wing, excuse me, not built up. A couple of motors, a pusher. Kind of goes head upside down. Wait, what? Like this? Oh, am I missing something? So I'm missing a piece. There's another piece that goes here. and I don't know where it is and if I even have it. That's interesting. So I am probably not going to work too hard on this. I think I'm just going to set this aside back into the back burner unless I can find another piece. I don't know if I want to put a whole lot of time on it, missing a piece. Might have to fabricate something. Although I probably should at least fix this motor on the side here. It's just dangling. But the problem is when I started looking at this, I realized it's got some issues. Um, the tail is the elevator is a little crooked. The canards are a little wonky. I don't know if you can see that. But they look really, really wonky. I think the real one they have anhedral like this, but it just looks. This one on the side just doesn't look right. And I don't know how I would fix that. It's one of those things that probably fly okay. It's not enough to. It just looks weird. Oop, 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 oop. And the whole control setup on this thing is just. I'm not a big fan. First of all, there is. What is that? There's like servo wires up here for some reason. Oh, it's just a. Well, that's odd. There's some sort of weird connector on the servo wire harness. So there is. It's like very hard to access anything. Here we go. So there is literally a cable that goes from a servo that hits the canards, and they're not at the same deflection. It looks like no, they're not. But I think that can be adjusted up front. So I don't know if I'm a big fan of this control setup. If I recall, in the real one, the canards were really moved only for landing and takeoff, like flaps, basically. It's even sticky. Oh, the wires. I am not a fan. Ugh, ugh. And there's like no hatch. I don't know where the. What's this? There's something inside. Oh, look at that. I don't know what that is, but it's something. I don't know where the battery goes. Maybe it goes here. I don't know where the CG is. I'm not a fan that you really can't access anything up front. How did I don't even know how this went together. Personally, I'm thinking it's going to need a hatch on the bottom. I may have to cut out some sort of hatch and redo the canards for some sort of better connection, maybe. And retracts will be nice, but I think this is not. That's a whole nother can of worms for this. So as cool as this plane is, and as much as I really would like to get it running, this is not something I think I want to tackle at this point. Where's the top? This is the top. Sorry. Maybe is that the top? Is there supposed to be flaps in this? No. So does it go like this? Okay. And these go on top. And there's some things that need to be re-glued. So stick that in there for now. It's too bad. Oh, wrong way. Goes like that. Goes like that. That's cool. Piaggio Avante. All right. So, yeah, this is... I have no idea if this has ever even flown. Some nice... I don't know what motors are in here. They feel pretty notchy. Oh, I can't see. Oh, they look like they're mega motors. Haha. Classic. So, yeah, I'm not going to... This one is a little more of a basket case than I thought when I first pulled it down. It's going to take some surgery, some thought, some maybe more research. And scouting around the shop to see if I can find a piece that looks like I'm missing. Otherwise, I'm going to have to scratch build. Yeah, this is... Dang it. Oh, well. So that's 3 out of 4. So I will put that aside for another day. But I am kind of happy the L39 is a definite possibility. Have that done in a few days. So what I'll do is I'll continue to go around, glue all the joints, think about reinforcing some spots, and get it ready. That means glue the wing tubes back on. Fuselage. Let me see if I can find the fuselage real quick. I mean, I know where it is. Let's see if I can get it. It's got a really snazzy paint scheme. Can I get it out? Of course, there's a bunch of stuff in front of it. Yeah, before spending too much time, make sure the fuselage is in decent shape. Zero. A couple other projects that I probably should get to. All right, baby. Let's see. There's a couple wings. Lots of wings. Well, how many wings do I have? Oh, what servos? This is one of those planes I haven't touched since I moved in this place. And so it's behind stuff. There we go. Come on out. Oh, I'm going to need to move it out. It's been hanging too long. There we go. I got it. Aha. Oh, man. Always something. So here it is. And I just saw something in there that's giving me pause. All right, so it's been sitting so long on the shelf that this part is dented in a little bit. That's not a huge deal. It's not a big deal. But it's missing the nose gear. What happened to the nose gear? I do not remember ever missing the nose gear out of this thing. So apparently last time I had an incident with it, I must have banged up the nose gear and ripped out the mount. Maybe that's why I hung it up. Wow. A real good chunk of it is gone. I have no idea. You gotta check out the speed controller in this thing. Look at this baby. Here's a speed controller. This thing is a monster. And my old power pole connectors I used to use on this. So, and a BEC in there. What did I do with it? So now I'm going to have to do some Indiana Jones level scouting around for landing gear. Actually, come to think of it, give me a second. It's all dusty. You can see the speed controller, steering servo, all nice fiberglass. I wonder if this is it. I think it is. So sitting in my landing gear drawer is what looks to be the nose gear for this guy. I think that's it. So, whoa, this thing's got some weight to it in the back. The fan is back behind here. There is a fan. You can't really see it. So let's see if this is what I think it is. Yeah, it's got banged up a little bit. This is some stress fractures on the fuselage there. So again, that looks like it. Yeah. I may need to extend it again. Need to go this way. Am I missing something? Trying to remember how this all went together. Oh yeah, we'll go this way. And then retract out that. Let's see if it still works. Hey, it worked. Uh-oh. It worked too well. There we go. This way. There we go. All right. Wanted to extend it so I can get it in there. All right. So it looks like when I whacked this thing, I whacked the nose gear. That's how long ago it was. I just don't remember. Grog don't remember nothing. All right. So get that in there. So there we go. Yeah. Yep. That's it. This is it. Hey, good. I found it. All right. So it looks like I can piece it together. Maybe it's gonna take some bit of work to get this thing lined back up. I may have to take the gear off and line it up. In fact, it's probably an easier thing to do. Get it out. Yeah, there. Yeah, here's the cable for it. So there's not a whole lot of structure. I just noticed. It's probably why it's broken, because it's not much in there. Really weak. No, you can't really see it. So yeah, this one you won't be able to see, so I won't do this on camera. But but it's got the speed controller, it's got all the other stuff in it. I want to give it a shot. I want to give it a good old college try. Next few days, see what I can do. I want to pull, that goes forward. So I'm going to, oh wow. How am I going to do that? Maybe I'll think about it. Did it go in a slot? Oh, it did. Is that a slot? So I think that went into a slot. If that did, that will make life nice and easy for me. All right, so probably easier if I took. Okay, that's one side. All right, so I want to see if this fits back in like a puzzle too, or is it going to need something more extensive? I guess this is the bad thing about waiting so long to fix something is you forget certain details, some nuances. That's probably easier, so don't wait too long to fix something. All right, so I'm just going to stick this piece in here. I think it slid right in that slot. Kind of, sort of. Not really. Another piece missing? Or did that fit in there? No, didn't work. Oh, here, did that work too? Trying to piece this back together. I'm not sure how it goes back together. So I may have to really rebuild this whole front end. To be honest, this probably will take longer than the wing. Going to rebuild the nose. Is probably probably going to take a little bit of time to piece things back together. It's a very narrow working space. I don't know if I have any pictures. Huh. Well, that's going to be fun. I wonder if the laser cutter could come in handy on this. All right. Well, I think I've tortured you guys enough. Maybe I'll start wrapping things up while I think about it over dinner or something. Hey, there's still some people watching. Hey. Move the camera over. All right. Well, back up. Thanks everybody for watching in on this over-the-shoulder workshop. I don't know, extravaganza. Thanks for keeping me company. And I think I got a few things accomplished. I got a couple things ready to go. And one, that's a possibility if I can work out re-engineering the nose gear. But other than that, actually, I really look forward to doing that. Everybody, thanks for watching. Stay tuned to the channel for future stuff. I got some stuff on the bench. There's one plane back behind there. That will be the next review. You can't see it because it's got too much other junk in front of it. But I'll be working on that as well. And so thanks everybody for joining me this time. Guys, take care. Have a good rest of the weekend. And I am out of things to say. All right, guys, we will see you later. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Ha ha.